It's Professor Dave. Let's conjugate piacere.
He knows a lot about all kinds of stuff. Professor Dave explains.
The verb piacere is extremely common, and it can potentially be very troublesome for those learning Italian. One big problem is that while piacere means to like, the construction of these two verbs could not be more different. In English, we say, Carlo likes pizza, or we can say, Carlo likes mushrooms. The structure of these two sentences is identical. In each case, the subject is Carlo. The action is to like, which is a transitive verb, and both pizza and mushrooms are direct objects. Pizza is singular and mushrooms is plural, and in English this won't make any difference. But in Italian this will be totally different. The best way to make sense moving forward is to completely forget about the existence of the English verb to like, and instead think of piacere as more closely meaning to be appealing or to be pleasing. Let's write our sentences again this way, as it will make the Italian seem easier. We can say, pizza is appealing to Carlo, and mushrooms are appealing to Carlo. This transformation is important to understand, as now pizza and mushrooms are the subjects of the sentences instead of direct objects. Also, it makes sense that the verb is in the singular for pizza and in the plural for mushrooms, as it must agree with the subject in each sentence. And lastly, Carlo is no longer the subject, he is now the indirect object. In Italian, the indirect object will be expressed by the preposition a plus the article, unless a pronoun or proper noun is there. Finally, in Italian, the subject will often be placed at the end of the sentence for added emphasis. A Carlo piace il gelato. Gli piace il gelato. Alla zia non piace la verdura. Non le piace la verdura. As we can see, for the present tense, the fact that gelato is masculine and verdura is feminine is irrelevant. Piace doesn't have gender, so it works for both. But if we are looking at a plural noun, the person of the verb will need to be modified. A Carlo piacciono I funghi. Gli piacciono I funghi. So that's some background for the verb piacere. Let's go through all the forms now. Io piaccio. Tu piaci. Lui o lei piace. Noi piacciamo. Voi piacete. Loro piacciono. Of course, the third person singular and plural will be the most commonly used because most of our sentences will have a third person noun as the subject. But the verb does have all 6 forms, so let's go through all of them now with examples. Alla mamma piacciono le fragole, ma non le piace il melone. Al papà piace il cocomero, ma non gli piacciono le albicocche. Ai nonni piace il pompelmo, ma non gli piacciono le susine. A noi piace l'ananas, ma non ci piacciono i lamponi. A voi piace l'uva, ma non vi piacciono le mele. A tuo fratello piacciono le pesche, ma non gli piace il ribes. A te piacciono le banane? Sì, mi piacciono molto le banane, ma mi piace di più il kiwi. A voi piace il cocomero? Sì, ci piace il cocomero, ma ci piacciono di più le ciliegie. As you can see, understanding how to use piacere is much easier if you think of it not as meaning to like, but rather to be appealing. Again, this can be confusing at first, but here are a few more examples that illustrate this way of thinking. Io ti piaccio? This doesn't mean, do I like you? It actually means, do you like me? Remember, more literally, this means, do I please you? Or am I appealing to you? To respond, one could say, Sì, mi piaci molto. This means, yes, you are very appealing to me. Or in English, more accurately, I like you a lot. Now that this is settled, let's quickly mention that piacere can be used in any tense in the indicative or subjunctive. In the case of passato prossimo, don't forget the required agreement of participle, since the verb piacere always takes the auxiliary essere. Here are some examples. Hai mangiato I gamberetti? Li ho mangiati, ma non mi sono piaciuti. Avete provato le lasagne? Le abbiamo provate, ma non ci sono piaciute. Io ti compro questo gelato, ma ti piacerà? Mi piacerebbe andare in Italia, ma non ho abbastanza soldi. One last thing. Dispiacere surprisingly does not mean to dislike, but rather to be sorry. For example, mi dispiace signora, ma I biglietti per lo spettacolo sono esauriti. And that's all we need to know about piacere. Let's check comprehension. Thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe to my channel for more tutorials. Support me on Patreon so I can keep making content. And as always, feel free to email me, ProfessorDaveExplains@gmail.com.